So are you caught up in Blues fever?
Right about that. Yeah. I mean, it looks like they're doing really well. And it's always nice when other teams in the city are doing well. So wishing them all the best.
Much of a hockey guy?
Not really. Been to a few hockey games.
Yeah.
Been to a few blue games, but I like the pace of it. It's much more, like soccer, it's back and forth. And I like that quite a bit.
Yeah, a lot more action per any period of time.
Because the first time I actually went, I was like, why guys just subbing in and out?
Yeah.
That's how you can be on the ice for too long.
Yeah. No, about a minute or so and you start to feel it.
I mean, to be able to skate and play like that, it's a tough spot. But yeah, I didn't make it look easy though.
Yeah. Where do you look at this team now? Is it still kind of searching for regular offense? The defense seeming good, but what's it going to take to get them both going?
Yeah, I mean, that's a question that we've gotten a lot. And again, I've said this before, it's a team effort. Like, we don't look at it as offense versus defense. It's collectively, so we all looking for ourselves. We are doing our best in trainings, I see this, the attacking guys out there every day after training, doing extra shootings, trying to find a solution. And so it's just a matter of time. And yeah, sometimes you go through these times when it's difficult, whether either you're conceding a lot of goals or you're not scoring a lot of goals. And it's tough. There's no hiding behind that. But I think as a team, we are doing everything we can, whether, through hard work and through doing extra training and extra finishing, the attacking players to get their reps in so that they feel confident in games. And we have guys that have proven that they can score. It's not like all of a sudden, like, we don't have anyone on the team that can score. We have a lot of guys that can score. And I truly believe that that's going to come in a matter of time.
And so, I mean, because you guys are 9 games in, so about a quarter of the season. I mean, at some point, does it stop being just a downturn and maybe who this team is?
Honestly, I don't believe that this is who we are. I don't think so, because you look at the squad and it's a squad that has a lot of quality, in every position, in every part of the field. And so, no, I personally don't accept that. And I don't think as a group we accept that. It's a challenge that it's a tough one, but a challenge that we're really excited, to figure out and to start getting results and to start, scoring goals and winning games. That's what we're paid to do. And that's what we come in here every day and during game days, to try to prove. Justin.
Josh, when you're knowing that the club at this transfer window is looking to potentially bring in a player, what is it like now to, on a game week, we have such a kind of short turnaround from the window to like match days for a player like Shande Silva to come in and just kind of be integrated with the group? What is that like?
I mean, it's always nice when there's a new player, because there's a fresh perspective, there's a fresh, kind of a skill set that's added to the group, and it's a positive way. And he's a guy that, you see him around even just today, fitting in really well, talking to guys, having the laugh. And that's a good sign, that's because you want someone to be able to come in and to be able to fit in what we're doing. And I think he's someone that's gonna give us something different, someone that's gonna come in and make a difference. And he's already showing that in the way that he is interacting with the guys, in the locker rooms and on the field today.
Yeah, when players come in, do you get a pretty good sense of like what their vibe is going to be like around the locker room pretty quickly in that?
Yeah, I mean, this club has done a good job of making sure that guys that they bring in are guys that are going to fit in what we do here, and guys that are, off the field are good guys, guys with good character. And I think from the little bit that I've seen from him today, he's a top guy, from the little bit that I've interacted with him. So yeah, it's always nice when you have someone that brings something different to the locker room, and looking forward to making sure that he's settled in and he can hit the ground running from today and going forward for the rest of the season. David.
You had just been talking with Tom a little earlier about reaching the quarter point of the season. Now that you've had, 3 months or so counting training under Olof and getting a chance to acclimate to his system, just how do you think the acclimation process has gone for the team, and how have you been able to benefit from having a former elite defensive back as your head coach?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's one of those coaches that is really clear with what he wants. You're not in a gray zone where am I doing this or am I doing that? He's really clear. This is how we're going to do with it. And for me as a player, it's really beneficial to just know that this is what the coach expects. And bonus, like you mentioned, he is a center back, or he was a center back when he played. He played at the highest level possible. And so having someone that's seen it all, done it all, you know, giving you instructions and helping you out with your career. I mean, I've benefited from that hugely just from conversations that I've had with him.
And then from the team perspective as well, how do you think the team is meshing and getting acclimated as a whole?
Yeah, I think the team is coming together pretty well. I mean, it's always tough when it feels like you're not getting results because everyone looks at things and go, everything is not going well. But I think there are a lot of things that are going well. But at the end of the day, you know, when we haven't won as many games and, you know, people start questioning what is happening. But I think in the locker room and for me personally, what I see being built, the foundations that are being laid are good foundations. And like I said, it's a matter of time. Once this team gets running, it's going to be a really difficult side because when we have shown flashes of that, it's just a matter of us as players taking it upon ourselves and performing consistently day in and day out and getting results.
You guys are coming off 2 games with Columbus and Vancouver, 2 of the best teams in the league. How do you think the team looked going up against those 2 teams?
Yeah, I think the Columbus game, obviously 2 really different games, 2 really different games, 2 really tough games in their own right. And I think, you know, we approached the Columbus game pretty well. You know, it was good. We got the goal and, but then again, we ended up, you know, losing that game. Some tough moments, you know, on a different day, who knows, that could have been easily a tie. On a different day, who knows, that could have been a win for us. So again, when you're in these difficult moments, it looks and seems like everything is against you. We don't take it that way, but that's a game that I think we approached it in a good way. But unfortunately, not to get at least a point in that game. And then the Vancouver game, I think we came out really with high intensity, with a lot of energy and with a purpose. And I think the team played really well. Again, unfortunate that we didn't end up getting the result, you know, and again, on a different day, that goal doesn't get called back, could be, 3 points for us. So I think this group, again, like I said, it's tough, but this group, it's really fighting, it's really doing everything that it can to make sure that, we start getting results. And the only thing that we can control as a group, it's how we show up. And I think, again, I'll give credit to the guys because you go to the locker room, you go around practice and everyone is fighting, you know, everyone is really grinding and making sure that we put in the extra work so that in difficult moments we come on top. But yeah, we just gotta keep going. We gotta keep fighting because we know it's not time to feel sorry about ourselves. And there's only one thing to do, go and win games.
So do you take encouragement away from that as you go into tough LAFC
yeah, no, I mean,
environment?
I look at last week's performance and I go, if we match up like that against any team in this league, we have a chance. It's the way that the team came out last weekend. I was on the field, but I was looking at it going, man, guys are hungry. Guys are fighting, and that's what we need. And like I said, this team has the fight in it. We have a lot of guys, everyone on the team that's really hungry, that's really pushing to start getting results. And you saw that last weekend. And so, yeah, we just got to keep that fight up.
We'll go online to Jeremy.
Thanks. There's been a lot of conversation this week nationally about the style of play and the system that City is running. I was curious from your perspective if you could talk a little bit about the differences in system this year compared to the years prior that we're playing now.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good question. I mean, this year we're still supposed to be like the same exact team that we were, from the previous 2 years. But one of the issues that we had last year was that the previous years that we conceded a lot of goals, and so that was a priority for the team to figure out how do we concede less. Because if you concede less, you only need 1 or 2 goals in a game to win games, and I think this season you've seen that defensively we've been really solid, but we still are a team that plays with a lot of energy, with a lot of maybe a little bit less chaos than it had been in the past 2 years, and a team that's kind of brought up to be a little bit cleaner on the ball, but nothing really has changed. It's still the same team that presses, that plays with a lot of energy and a lot of excitement like you've seen in the past 2 years.
Anyone else? Josh, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you guys.
Hey, Olof.
Hi.
Was to start, who's available this week and who's not? between guys being hurt or Jande coming in? Who do you have on the injury front or on the?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Shande obviously available, and we'll have Jannes and Joachim were available last week as well, but building on their fitness, so even more ready for this weekend. Apart from that, no changes.
So
No.
Totland and Berkey are still.
Yeah,
still out. Yeah.
unfortunately, yeah, Roman we knew from before, but and we were hoping Tots would be ready, but unfortunately he's not.
So what do you like about Jande and how can you implement him? Where does he fit in?
Yeah, I mean, as you know by now, you know whoever plays, we try to play them in the position where we get most out of them and where they feel comfortable. An example is Celio, for example. When he has played, he has drifted more out to the left, which he has liked. You know, similar to Sunday. Previously in his career, he's played striker as well. You know, so those are probably the two positions he has played most throughout his career. But it's also a player he hasn't had that much consistency throughout his career. Been a lot in and out, stop and start. You know, hasn't been a starting player over a long period of time, which I think has affected him. You know, it's not easy when you know maybe you're not an important player in the team week in week out. So you get minutes here and there. So you know he's definitely a player with potential, and hope we can get that out of him.
What do you like about his skill set?
He's got speed. You know, he's got power and can play in various positions.
So you could see him coming off the bench in this game this week, obviously.
Yeah, could. Sure.
Is this something that you thought, I mean, as you obviously talking with Lutz about what this roster needs, does this address for you an area of need?
Well, I think it depends a little bit on the squad at the moment with the injuries and so on. You know, there's no doubt we have a lot of centre backs, for example, and you know, in those attacking positions, depending on how we play, we don't have that many players. But you know, it's. This was a player who came up quite late in the transfer window and gave us an opportunity that we took.
We go to Justin.
Coach, kind of on that same front of transfer window activity, Simon Betcher's option or is committed to the rest of the team. How is it for you just to know that you'll have Simon Betcher around for the rest of the season and that he's here at the club now?
Yeah, it's nice. It was something that we expected. But it's good to know. Sure.
And then when Josh was in earlier, he was talking about just the confidence that the club has had over the past two games, especially last week against Vancouver. Knowing Vancouver played so well last night, has there been more of that this week in training, especially looking towards an LAFC team?
Yeah, I think so. Today I thought it was a little bit slower in training. We had a really good training on Wednesday. It was probably the best training of the week, but. No, I feel confident in the game plan we've had. We've had a good look at LAFC and are aware of how they play and their strengths and the possible weaknesses. So you know, I think the players feel confident going into this game as well. There are very few occasions this season. Maybe one or two where we haven't looked great at the start of the game, or you know, very few games this season we haven't been the better side. You know, we had a few even games. Most of the games we've probably been the better side, and then we've had a couple of games where the opponents have been better. So you know, those kind of performances gives confidence, but results also gives a lot of confidence. So we obviously want both.
Thank you.
We'll go on Zoom to Rockyu, then Jeremy.
Hey, Coach. LAFC is one of the best dribbling teams in the entire league. They obviously, as a whole team, and obviously because of Denny and David Martinez, that's obviously going to help them out. So how do you balance your defense this week when stepping up against them when they have such dangerous dribblers versus maybe letting those dribblers come at you and trying to defend that way? How do you find that balance? I know you've been looking for it the entire season.
Yeah, that's definitely something we've had a look at. We know, we know the individual qualities they have in those aspects, as you mentioned. Especially Boanga out there on the left is a really good player individually. So that is something we've had a look at, and they have a few others as well. So for sure, their individual quality is something that we are aware of and ready for.
Go ahead, Joey.
All right, thanks. A couple of questions for you, Coach. The first one, wondering if you could talk a little bit about Cedric Toyshirt and his level of involvement in the offense. Have you been happy with what he's done so far, or are you still looking for more from him?
I'm looking for more, as I do with everybody. We're trying to improve all the time, every week. In his case, he had a little bit of the stop and start pre-season, and also the beginning of the season here. He had a couple of smaller injuries. He went back to Germany for a while, so I think he will become stronger and stronger the more he trains and the more he plays. And I think we could see that. I thought he did well last week, and we could see that on his physical numbers as well. I think that's important for him, that he's fully fit. I think quality will come from him as well.
We'll go back in the room to Tom.
9 games into the season, is there a point where the offensive struggles become a really big concern? I mean, it just keeps, with all the shutouts, times you've been shut out, is it start to wonder? I mean, because you've been training and working on scoring more goals, but it just doesn't seem to be happening.
No, I mean, I'm not too worried as long as we are better than the opponents and create more chances. And the more chances we create, the bigger the chance of scoring. But I think I think I said early on, we all need to contribute in attack, same as we do in defending. We have a lot of players who can score goals, and we're looking a lot of set pieces as well, where we have possibilities, strong on set pieces. A lot of players are good in the air, and also good takers on the free kicks and the corners. That's one example, and just trying to keep creating chances. And
with just, you play the 2 best teams in the league, or 2 of the best teams in Columbus and Vancouver. You got 1 point out of that, but you see progress from those 2
I do. I mean, as I said before, most of the games we played have been quite even. As I said before, I think probably we've been the better side in 5 of them. A couple of games have been even, and in 2 games we haven't been the better side. San Diego away, even though they didn't have many chances, I thought they were the better team on the day. Philadelphia, we didn't have a good game, and I thought they were overall better than us. The rest of the games, the opponents haven't been better than us, and at home we've been the better side in all our home games. I don't think we're afraid of any opponents, but also respect them, obviously, especially now with the individual quality they have. And they have proven that, especially at home, they have a good record. So we need to be on top of our game to get the 3 points.
As you make another trip to the West Coast, are you starting to get an appreciation for how big the United States is? These trips to the West Coast never seem to be easy ones.
No, no, for sure. That flight is incredible. Especially the last couple of hours there. You really get an understanding of how big the United States is.
Did you fly much in Sweden?
No, not a lot. We did at the end, it was, I mean, sometimes the distances are quite because Sweden is a long country. So from the south to the north, you need to fly. But also it's a financial thing, depending on the size and of the club. But yeah, and when I played in England, for example, the distances are short. We always took the bus, and yeah, it's different. But I think we've handled that well. I have no excuses away from home. The trips have been great. The way we fly, the way we're taken care of by the league, and we stay in a really nice hotels. We get great food. We get good rest. So I don't have any complaints on our travels so far.
It must have been easy. We had BP where you had 4 teams in Stockholm. So like the three of the games, you're just like cross town.
Yeah, no, for sure. And most teams are in the southern part of Sweden as well. So even though we usually flew to Gothenburg, which is the second city on the west coast, no, we had a good setup there as well.
Coach, thank you. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys.